The capture. The arrival. The Yetan dreadnought loomed ominously in the depths of space, a symbol of the Empire's ruthless power. Inside, Commander Pixis walked with a determined gait, his eyes fixed on the brig where the newest prisoner awaited. This human, Billy Russell, was the first of his kind captured alive, and Pixis intended to make an example out of him. Earth was next in the Yatan Empire's sights, and Billy's defiance would soon be crushed. The interrogation. Pixis entered the cell, towering over Billy, who sat in chains. "Tell me the coordinates of your planet," he demanded, his voice dripping with menace. Billy glared back, unyielding. "Go to hell," he spat. The Yatan commander's eyes narrowed. So it would be torture then. Days turned into weeks as Billy endured every torment imaginable. Physical pain, sensory deprivation, chemical injections, but his resolve never wavered. What Pixis saw as human frailty, Billy turned into a weapon of defiance. The defiance. Through his suffering, Billy studied his captors. The Yatan's arrogance was their Achilles heel. They believed themselves invincible, underestimating the resilience and ingenuity of humanity. Billy began to plot his escape, knowing he couldn't do it alone. He whispered to other prisoners, sowing seeds of rebellion. There were others with the skills and spirit needed to turn the tide. Silo, a brilliant alien engineer. Gurk, a hulking warrior. And Vox, a cunning strategist. The first glimpse. As days turned into weeks, Billy noticed the patterns in the Yatan Guards' movements, their shift changes, and their general complacency. They were so assured of their superiority that they often left areas unguarded, trusting in the intimidating reputation of their empire to maintain order. Billy used these moments of oversight to gather information and communicate with his fellow prisoners. Silo's secret. In one of these stolen moments, Billy managed to approach Silo, who had been a former scientist on a now-conquered world. Silo's multiple eyes darted around nervously as he listened to Billy's plan. "I've seen their technology," Silo whispered, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and excitement. "I think I can override their systems, but I'll need access to the central control room." Gurk's strength. Gurk, a towering alien with a physique reminiscent of ancient Earth legends of giants, was skeptical at first. "Why should we trust a human?" he growled, his voice like grinding stones. Billy met his gaze steadily. "Because we have nothing left to lose, and together we can be more than they ever anticipated." Kirk's eyes narrowed, but eventually he nodded. "I'll fight those bastards tooth and nail." Vox's cunning. Vox, a slender and quick-witted alien, was the last to join their makeshift rebellion. His skills in stealth and strategy were unparalleled, and he saw the potential in Billy's plan. "I can find their weak points," Vox said, a sly grin spreading across his face. "We'll hit them where it hurts the most." The seed of rebellion. With his team assembled, Billy began to lay out the details of their escape. They would need to act quickly and decisively, coordinating their efforts to overwhelm the Yatan guards and seize control of the ship. As they whispered their plans in the darkened cells, a sense of hope began to spread among the prisoners. For the first time since their capture, they believed in the possibility of freedom. The plan: gathering allies. In the dimly lit brig, Billy moved from cell to cell, recruiting allies for his daring escape plan. Tylo, with his engineering prowess, was the first to join. "Can you hack their systems?" Billy asked. Silo nodded nervously. "I think so, but it's risky." Gurk, a towering warrior, cracked his knuckles. "I'll fight those bastards tooth and nail." Vox, a lithe figure, emerged from the shadows. "I can find their weak points," he hissed. The first move. As they plotted, Billy was dragged back for more brutal interrogations. Each session was agony, but he used the time to gather intel, memorizing every detail of the ship's layout. One day, as he was returned to his cell, he saw his chance. He lunged at the guards, a desperate brawl ensuing. Despite his battered state, Billy fought with savage determination, managing to knock a guard unconscious and snatch their keycard. The uprising. Billy raced through the cell block, unlocking doors and rallying the prisoners. "Now we fight," he bellowed. Girk led the charge, his makeshift club smashing Yetin skulls, while Vox planted explosives to create chaos. Silo hacked into the security systems, sealing bulkheads and trapping Yetin reinforcements. On the bridge, Commander Pixis roared in fury as his ship descended into chaos. The escape plan. The chaos created by the uprising gave Billy and his team the cover they needed to move swiftly. They navigated the maze-like corridors of the dreadnought, using the keycard to bypass security checkpoints. Tylo's knowledge of Yetin technology proved invaluable as he disabled surveillance systems and opened locked doors. The armory. Their first major objective was the armory. Billy knew that without proper weapons, their rebellion would be short-lived. The armory was heavily guarded, but with the element of surprise on their side, they managed to overpower the guards. Kirk's brute strength and Vox's cunning tactics were instrumental in their victory. They armed themselves with plasma rifles and other advanced weaponry, ready to take the fight to the Yetins. The control room. With their newfound arsenal, they made their way to the control room. This was the heart of the ship, and controlling it would be crucial to their escape. Silo worked furiously at the control panels, his hands moving in a blur as he bypassed layers of security. Alarms blared as the Yetins realized the gravity of the situation, but it was too late. The rebels had control of the ship's systems. The broadcast. Billy used the ship's communication system to broadcast a message to all the prisoners. "This is Billy Russell. We have control of the ship. Rise up and join us. Together, we can take back our freedom." Cheers erupted throughout the brig as prisoners rallied to their cause. The Yetin guards, caught off guard by the coordinated rebellion, struggled to regain control. The showdown. With the control room secure, Billy and his team prepared for the final confrontation with Commander Pixis. They knew he would not go down without a fight. As they made their way to the bridge, they encountered fierce resistance. Plasma bolts seared the air, and the corridors echoed with the sounds of battle. Kirk's brute strength and Vox's agility were crucial in overcoming the Yetin forces. The final confrontation. When they reached the bridge, they found Pixis waiting for them, his plasma blade drawn. "You dare defy us," he snarled. Billy raised his plasma rifle, meeting Pixis's gaze with steely determination. "We humans dare a lot of things," he replied. Their duel was intense, each blow a clash of wills. In the end, Billy's determination and resourcefulness prevailed. He disarmed Pixis and pinned him to the ground. The interrogation. "It's over," Billy panted, pressing his knee into Pixis' back. "Your ship is ours now." Kirk reported that engineering and weapons systems were secured. Billy hauled Pixis to his feet, demanding, "Tell me everything about your invasion plans." Pixis sneered, "I'll die before I betray the Empire." But a flicker of fear in his eyes betrayed him. Billy pressed on, realizing there was a central command center that coordinated the Yetin fleet. The Command Nexus. The new objective with the Yetin warship under their control, Billy and his team set their sights on a new objective. The Command Nexus. This central hub was the key to the Yetin fleet's operations, and destroying it would cripple their ability to wage war. "We'll hit them where it hurts most," Billy declared, rallying his ragtag crew. They prepared for the bold assault, knowing that Earth's fate depended on their success. The journey. The captured Yetin warship, now under Billy's command, set a new course. As they traveled through the vast expanse of space, the crew worked tirelessly to prepare for the upcoming battle. Engineers modified the ship's systems, integrating human and alien technology to create a formidable weapon. The prisoners, now soldiers, trained rigorously, honing their skills and building camaraderie. The Alliance. During their journey, they encountered other ships and colonies that had suffered under Yetin oppression. Billy reached out to them, forming alliances and gathering additional forces. Their rebellion grew stronger with each new ally, a diverse coalition united by a common cause. These new allies brought unique skills and knowledge, further bolstering their chances of success. The plan. Billy and his team devised a multifaceted plan to infiltrate the command nexus. Kylo would use his technical expertise to disable the station's defenses, while Gurk and Vox led the assault teams. Billy would personally oversee the operation, coordinating the various elements to ensure a seamless execution. They rehearsed the plan tirelessly, knowing that any mistake could be fatal. The infiltration. As they neared the command nexus, the tension aboard the ship was palpable. Kylo worked his magic, hacking into the station's systems and creating a window of opportunity. The infiltration team donned stealth suits and prepared for their mission. Remember, Billy said, "We go in fast and quiet. Hit them before they know what's happening." The first strike. The infiltration team breached the station's outer defenses, moving with precision and speed. Kylo's hacks disabled security systems and opened doors, allowing them to slip through undetected. Kirk's strength and Vox's agility proved invaluable as they neutralized guards and secured key positions. The element of surprise was on their side, and they moved quickly to their objectives. The command center. Reaching the command center, they found it heavily fortified. Kylo worked furiously to bypass the final security measures, while Gurk and Vox held off waves of Yatan soldiers. Plasma bolts flew, and the air was thick with the smell of burning metal. Despite the overwhelming odds, the rebels fought with unrelenting determination. Finally, Kylo cracked the code, and the doors to the command center slid open. The confrontation. Inside, they faced the Yatan command staff, who were taken aback by the sudden intrusion. Billy stepped forward, his plasma rifle trained on the Yatan commander. "Surrender," he demanded. The Yatan commander, a formidable figure, snarled defiantly. A fierce battle ensued, with Billy and his team fighting tooth and nail to subdue the Yatan forces. In the end, their unity and resolve triumphed, and the command center was theirs. The destruction. With the command center under their control, Billy ordered the destruction of the Nexus. Kylo planted explosive charges on critical systems, while Gurk and Vox secured the perimeter. They set the charges and made a hasty retreat, racing against the clock. As they fled the station, the charges detonated, sending shockwaves through the Nexus. The central hub of the Yatan fleet was obliterated, and the rebellion had struck a decisive blow. The aftermath. The destruction of the command nexus sent ripples through the Yatan fleet. With their central coordination severed, the Yatans were thrown into disarray. The coalition forces, emboldened by their victory, launched a series of follow-up attacks, exploiting the Yatans' confusion. The tide of the war had turned, and for the first time, humanity and its allies had a fighting chance. The battle for Earth. The return. With the Yatan command nexus destroyed, the coalition forces regrouped and prepared for the next phase of their campaign, the defense of Earth. Billy and his team knew that the Yatans would not give up easily, and a massive invasion fleet was already en route to their homeworld. They'd raced back to Earth, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that their loved ones were in grave danger. The defense. As they approached Earth, they were greeted by a massive defensive array, human and alien ships, bolstered by the technology and knowledge gained from their allies, formed a formidable blockade. Orbital platforms bristling with weaponry stood ready to repel the Yatan onslaught. On the ground, fortifications and bunkers were hastily constructed, and civilians were evacuated to safe zones. The invasion. The Yatan fleet arrived in a terrifying display of power. Thousands of warships darkened the skies, their weapons trained on Earth. The coalition forces braced for the onslaught, their resolve unwavering. The first wave of Yatan ships broke through the defensive lines, engaging in fierce battles with the coalition forces. The skies lit up with explosions as ships clashed in a desperate struggle for supremacy. The ground assault. While the space battle raged above, Yetan ground forces launched a massive assault on Earth's surface. Dropships and landing craft descended in waves, disgorging troops and armored vehicles. The coalition defenders, outnumbered but determined, dug in and prepared to hold their ground. Kirk led the ground forces, his towering presence inspiring those around him. "We hold the line here," he roared. "For Earth." The turning point. The battle reached a critical point as the Yatans pushed deeper into coalition territory. Billy and his team knew they needed to strike a decisive blow to turn the tide. They launched a daring raid on the Yatan command ship, hoping to decapitate the invasion force. Xilo's hacking skills proved invaluable as they infiltrated the ship, disabling key systems and sowing chaos. The final confrontation. Reaching the heart of the command ship, Billy and his team faced the Yatan High Command. The ensuing battle was fierce and brutal, with plasma bolts and energy blades clashing in a deadly dance. Despite the overwhelming odds, the coalition forces fought with unparalleled determination. Billy faced off against the Yatan Supreme Commander, their duel a microcosm of the larger conflict. The victory. In the end, Billy's resourcefulness and tenacity prevailed. He defeated the Yatan Supreme Commander, crippling the invasion force. The remaining Yatan ships, leaderless and in disarray, began to retreat. Cheers erupted across the coalition lines as the invaders were driven back. Earth was safe, and humanity had proven its resilience once again. The aftermath. The victory came at a great cost. Many lives were lost, and the planet bore the scars of the brutal conflict. But amidst the devastation, there was hope. The coalition forces, united by their shared struggle, began the arduous task of rebuilding. They honored the fallen and celebrated their hard-won freedom. Humanity and its allies had forged a bond that would endure, and they were determined to create a brighter future. The rebuilding. The unity. In the aftermath of the battle, the coalition forces worked tirelessly to rebuild. Earth was a patchwork of ruins and recovery, but the spirit of unity and determination was stronger than ever. Billy, now a celebrated hero, led efforts to foster cooperation between humans and their alien allies. "We've proven that we're stronger together," he said at a gathering of leaders. "Now let's build a future worthy of our sacrifices." The innovation. The war had brought technological advancements that humanity had never dreamed of. Silo and other alien engineers worked alongside human scientists, sharing knowledge and creating new innovations. They developed advanced energy sources, medical technologies, and even new forms of transportation. These advancements not only helped in the rebuilding efforts, but also improved the quality of life for all. The exploration. With the immediate threat of the Yatans neutralized, humanity turned its gaze to the stars. They formed an exploratory fleet, comprised of both human and alien vessels, to chart new territories and seek out potential allies. Billy was appointed as the fleet's commander, a role that filled him with both pride and a sense of responsibility. "The stars are our future," he told his crew. "Let's explore them together." The new threat. However, the peace was not to last. As the exploratory fleet ventured deeper into uncharted space, they encountered new threats. A race known as the Drakons, ruthless and technologically advanced, posed a new challenge. They were a nomadic warrior culture driven by a desire for conquest. The coalition forces had to adapt quickly to this new enemy, learning their tactics and finding ways to counter their superior technology. The diplomacy. In addition to military efforts, Billy also pursued diplomatic avenues. He sought to form alliances with other races that had suffered under the Drakons' tyranny. These alliances were crucial in creating a united front against the new threat. Diplomacy was often fraught with tension, but Billy's determination and charisma helped bridge the gaps. "We must stand together," he told a gathering of alien leaders. "Only through unity can we hope to overcome this threat." The strategy. Back on Earth, the Coalition forces developed new strategies to counter the Dracons. They studied the enemy's weaknesses and devised innovative tactics to exploit them. The combined expertise of human and alien military leaders led to the creation of a new, more agile and versatile fighting force. These new strategies were put to the test in a series of skirmishes, where the Coalition forces proved their mettle. The resilience. The battles against the Dracons were brutal and relentless, but the Coalition forces stood firm. Their resilience and adaptability were key to their survival. Kirk, now a seasoned veteran, led the ground forces with unwavering determination. "We've faced worse," he would say, rallying his troops, "and we'll face this too." The hope. Amidst the chaos and conflict, there was always hope. Billy's leadership and the unity of the Coalition forces inspired many. They believed that they could overcome any challenge, no matter how insurmountable it seemed. This hope was a beacon of light in the darkest times, guiding them towards a future where peace and prosperity were possible. The final stand. The siege. The Dracons launched a massive assault on a key Coalition stronghold, hoping to break their spirit and force a surrender. The Coalition forces, however, were prepared. They had fortified their defenses and devised a multi-layered strategy to repel the invaders. The siege lasted for days, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The skies were ablaze with the fires of war, and the ground shook with the impact of artillery. The defense. Billy and his team were at the forefront of the defense, coordinating efforts and rallying their forces. Silo's technical expertise was crucial in maintaining the stronghold's defenses, while Girk's leadership inspired the ground troops to hold their positions. Vox, with his keen strategic mind, orchestrated ambushes and counterattacks that kept the Dracons off balance. The turning point. As the battle raged on, the Coalition forces found an opportunity to strike back. They launched a daring counteroffensive, targeting the Dracons' supply lines and command centers. This bold move caught the Dracons off guard, forcing them to retreat and regroup. The Coalition forces pressed their advantage, pushing the invaders back and reclaiming lost territory. The sacrifice. The victory came at a great cost. Many brave soldiers gave their lives to secure the stronghold, and their sacrifice was not forgotten. Billy stood before the fallen, his heart heavy with grief. "We honor their memory by continuing the fight," he said, his voice filled with resolve. "Their sacrifice will not be in vain." The alliance. In the wake of the battle, the Coalition forces sought to strengthen their alliances. They reached out to other races that had been oppressed by the Dracons, offering support and forming new bonds. These new alliances brought fresh troops and resources to the Coalition, bolstering their strength for the final confrontation. The strategy. The Coalition forces devised a bold strategy to end the Dracon threat once and for all. They planned a coordinated assault on the Dracons' homeworld, targeting their central command and infrastructure. This risky operation required precise timing and flawless execution, but it was their best chance to cripple the enemy and secure lasting peace. The preparation. The Coalition forces prepared meticulously for the assault. They trained tirelessly, honing their skills and rehearsing the plan. Engineers and technicians worked around the clock to ensure their equipment was in top condition. Morale was high, fueled by the belief that victory was within their grasp. The infiltration. The assault began with a covert infiltration of the Dracons' outer defenses. Vox led a team of elite operatives, using their stealth and cunning to disable key systems and create a breach. The rest of the Coalition forces followed, pouring through the breach and engaging the enemy in fierce combat. The battle for the Dracon homeworld was underway. The assault. The Coalition forces advanced steadily, overcoming the Dracons' formidable defenses with determination and skill. Hilo's technical expertise proved invaluable as he hacked into the enemy's systems, disrupting their coordination and sowing confusion. Kirk led the ground forces with unmatched ferocity, his presence a rallying point for the troops. The victory. The final confrontation took place at the heart of the Dracons' command center. Billy and his team fought their way through waves of enemy soldiers, their resolve unshaken. In a climactic battle, they faced the Drakon leadership, a group of elite warriors who fought with ruthless efficiency. Despite the overwhelming odds, the coalition forces emerged victorious, bringing an end to the Drakon threat. The New Dawn. The peace with the Drakons defeated, a new era of peace began. The coalition forces, now united by their shared struggles, worked together to rebuild and restore what had been lost. Earth and its allies flourished, their cooperation leading to unprecedented advancements in technology, culture, and society. The celebration. A grand celebration was held to commemorate their victory and honor the fallen. Leaders from across the galaxy gathered to express their gratitude and reaffirm their commitment to peace. Billy, now a revered figure, addressed the assembly. "We have shown that together we can overcome any challenge," he said. "Let this be the beginning of a new era of unity and prosperity." The exploration. With the immediate threats neutralized, humanity and its allies turned their attention to exploration. They embarked on new missions to chart unexplored regions of space, seeking out new worlds and civilizations. The spirit of curiosity and discovery, which had always been a hallmark of humanity, now drove them to new heights. The legacy. Billy's legacy endured, inspiring future generations to strive for greatness and never lose hope. The coalition forces remained vigilant, ready to defend against any new threats that might arise. The bonds forged in the fires of war became the foundation for a brighter future, one where peace and cooperation reigned. The hope. As they looked to the stars, humanity and its allies saw endless possibilities. They had faced the darkest of times and emerged stronger for it. The hope that had sustained them through their struggles now guided them towards a future filled with promise. Together, they would continue to explore, discover, and build a better world for all. The promise. Billy stood on the bridge of his ship, gazing out at the expanse of space. The journey had been long and arduous, but it was far from over. "We have a responsibility," he said to his crew, "to protect what we've built and to push the boundaries of what we know. Let's make sure the sacrifices we made were worth it." The future. And so, under the leadership of Billy and his allies, humanity and its coalition partners embarked on a new chapter. They faced each challenge with courage and determination, their unity and resilience guiding them towards a future filled with endless possibilities. The stars were no longer a distant dream but a beacon of hope and adventure, calling them to explore, learn, and thrive.